Alright, hello guys, welcome, or if you already are acquainted with my channel, welcome back. I am the Philadelphia Whovian. In this review, it's going to be, well, not a review, it's going to be more of a video, about my thoughts on a movie I just saw a couple days ago called Annihilation with Natalie Portman and lots of other really talented people in the cast, and also directing behind the helm, and just simply the design of the production, all those guys, props to them. This is really unique because honestly, I usually don't do any type of analysis on movies that have just come out. So this is gonna be kind of different or straying from my normal subject matter that I do my best to cover. But with this one, I just feel like I had to talk about it because I just saw Annihilation a couple of days ago with my dad in a movie theater, and this is one of those movies I think will generate a lot of those who will see it. It generates quite a fair bit of talk or discussion, and it's another movie that I feel like you can have three people go into the movie, sit down, watch it, and come out with three different feelings and takes on it. Now, that can happen to many different movies, but this one is this is very divisive movie. Sorry, I was saying decisive, I mean divisive movie. I'm going to quickly give the plot to it really quickly because I feel like if you came to this video, then pretty much you probably already saw the movie because it's about my theories about what Annihilation is all about. Okay, so the plot is Natalie Portman's character. She is she's a biologist, a scientist pretty much. But she does have military experience. She was in the army for at least 8 years. She's married to a man who's also in the army. He went off a year ago for an operation, a covert operation. And then she finds out actually, because he came back home and he just wasn't himself. He was just strange. He started hemorrhaging inside and started coughing up blood. And he was being rushed to the ambulance, but he gets stopped by, security or the government or the military. It turns out the covert operation was that he was a part of a unit that went into something called the Shimmer. What the Shimmer is, it's one day, just something landed right in the midst of a lighthouse, amidst a lighthouse. And then it emitted a force field or a whole field of light, beautiful rainbow light. And they call this the Shimmer. The problem with this, besides the fact that it's possibly alien, is that also it widened. It's widening over time, so it's spreading. This is something that's going to spread and eventually take over the entire world, probably. Yeah, it's a scary thing. So the government or the military kept on sending in, soldiers, in units to go inspect what was inside the Shimmer. And each time the soldiers don't come back until one day Natalie Portman's husband came back, and he immediately came to her house. It's after a year of them being separated, a year of her not seeing him and assuming he is dead. He comes back and he's just not himself, gets taken in by the government or the military, and Natalie Portman signs up to be a part of the crew that goes in and studies what is inside the Shimmer. It's 5 women. And these are basically, women who, they're kind of the last, not just all that's left, but it's there are many male soldiers who already went in there, and they're just they're just so the last ones to probably be, able to go in there. One is a psychiatrist who actually oversaw, Natalie Portman's husband, but she's dying to go in there, but I'll get to that later about another reason why she's willing to go in there. But all of them have some sort of damage, that makes them be okay, you know what, just let's go in there. No one's came back, but let's go do this anyway. We all got nothing to lose. And they go inside there, and then eventually, one by one, they all get picked off, and Natalie Portman is the last one, and she does encounter what caused the Shimmer to occur. It's some sort of alien creature that mimics her, and eventually, by the time it's over, it has taken over her, the way it took over her husband. Yeah. If you're confused about that, I think that's the plot really was. But then again, that I could be wrong about that. I'll get into that later with a discussion of what I think happened in Annihilation. So that is the overall plot, I think, in a nutshell of this movie. So when it comes to this movie, here's the thing. When it ended, thought about what reviews I saw about this movie, because I think there were only 3 reviews I watched before I went into this movie. There was a review by Jeremy Johns, Chris Stuckman, and Smoes No, with Christian and Mark. And they all had 3 different comments. Chris Stuckman absolutely loved it and thought it was very unique, original, and he was happy to support it because he wants to see sci-fi like this. Jeremy Johns, like, he knew it's a very decisive movie. It wasn't his thing. And Smoville, I didn't get a chance to see all of their review. I saw literally the first minute of their review because I had to go off and actually go to the movies, and so I wouldn't be late seeing it. But I pretty much agree with what Christian said in that 1 minute. He said, I love absolutely everything about this movie except for until the end. Except for that very bitter end bit. And I think I agree with that one the most. I sat there in the movie theater thoroughly enjoying myself. I actually was really entertained by this movie, and I thought it very compelling, very enjoyable. Some of the criticism I got to this movie was its pacing. It's really off. The pacing is very slow. Here's the thing, though. The pacing I thought was actually very good, because when something scary or fast really did happen, it grabbed you because it was just so different than what was happening before. And the slow bits really built up the tension. For me, it added to it. It did not take away from it in any way, shape, or form. Another criticism I got for this movie is, except for 2 of the females, Natalie Portman's character being one of them, you don't connect really or know much about any of the other women. For me, I learned as much as I needed to know about these women. The other 3 women, I learned all I needed to know. I didn't need to know anymore. And everything I was given was information that was vital or crucial to the plot that was happening in that time. And when I told my father about this criticism that the movie got by one reviewer, he had the same thing to think about it too. He said, well, that wasn't the point. The point of the movie was not like, let's hear the entire backstory of each particular character. It was just, we got the gist of what we needed of these women in this situation. That was all we needed to know. And that's what I very much agreed with in that score. So, when the movie ended, I had that thought. It's like, whoa, that was incredible. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a big fan of the ending, but I don't hate it. While I did really enjoy it, I admit I probably would never want to go and see it again. Not because it was bad in any way, shape, or form. It's just one of those movies you see it once, you got all you need to see, unless you want to go and analyze every single thing about it. But when it ended and I stood up, there were like 2 people leaving the theater, and for some reason 2 of them turned to me. I have no idea why. I was wearing pajama pants. I always look strangely unkempt for some reason. So I'm not the person that I thought people would want to turn to and just randomly give their comments about the movie. One woman just literally looked at me and said, what was that? What was that? Like, at least the special effects were good, but that was just confusing. Another guy said, that was decent, okay. Wasn't great, but it was fine. So, I heard these 2 different views, and me, it was really good. I just would never really go see it again, and I wasn't that crazy about the ending. 3 entirely different reactions to this movie. Yes, Annihilation. Sorry, getting thirsty. Gotta drink something. Sorry, almost there. Oh, water dripping. Sorry, guys. So why I made this video, it's because I want to discuss what I think the point or what was happening in the story, what it was about, what it was saying. And I decided to not watch other YouTube reviews, videos about explaining what happened in it. I wanted to kind of see if I could get it right, introduce my own thoughts of what was happening in the storyline, and by the time the end, what was the journey, the process of it all. I just chose to see if I was, if I'm wrong here when I give my theories. Please, if you watch this video, please let me know in the comment section if it was something else entirely. So, here I go, guys. So, in the very beginning, we hear Natalie Portman talking about microbes, or about, small, atomic, or, atoms, or, cells, or, more importantly, microbes, and how one microbe started out, and then it split, and it became another microbe, it split again, become another microbe, another one, and this is what created us, or created the world. The idea of microbes splitting apart over and over and over and over again, and therefore creating life, or creating another life. And that's how this world was possibly created, through microbes completely always splitting up. I think That right there, what Natalie Portman was saying in her class, that was the entire movie. She actually explained it, what the plot of the movie was going to be before the movie began to unfold itself. Why am I saying this? Because when all 5 of those women went inside the shimmer, we had the one character who she would cut herself. She wore long sleeves because she would cut herself. That was her type of damage. And make it very clear, these 5 actresses they got, including Natalie Portman, yeah, we all know her, but they were all awesome. Everyone in this movie, the acting-wise, was awesome. The direction was awesome. It looked good. It was beautifully done film. Very beautifully done. Written and directed by the same person, I believe. But she said, because first when they went inside there, all the radios were completely scrambled. Like they couldn't connect outside to the world, despite there was always satellites above them in places. They couldn't just connect. It took her a while before she realized, oh wait. I was wrong. It's not that our radios are not scrambled because we can't get a signal. Oh no. It's because inside of the shimmer, it's taking the frequency or taking like the connection that the radio has and it's fracturing it. Which means it's taking everything into itself, this shimmer, and it's mixing everything all up together. It is. And that's why when we, again, I'm assuming those who are watching this video have seen this movie possibly. So one of the things we got was we got a crocodile earlier before the fractured moment with the radios, and this crocodile was not only very huge, or it's alligator, not only huge, but had very different types of teeth than what an alligator or crocodile usually has. And Natalie Portman saw this. She's like, it's a mutation. Then eventually we got a bear, and a bear that killed one of the 5 women. And when it killed her, they saw the bear again. And the bear, when it got to them again, the bear had taken in the voice of the woman it killed. So they actually, when they heard like a crash and they were inside this house, they thought it was her. And then when the women went to go inspect it, thinking it was her, and it was actually the bear. The bear had taken in her voice, and it was clearly a mutated type of bear, or beast, whatever it was, really. Whew. This means everything is blending together. What is inside the shimmer is actually taking everything and it's blending it into, it's melding everything. It's like, you know, combining things. That's what I think it was doing. It was trying to create. It just did not know how to do it. And I think whatever came down, the alien that came down, that was in the midst of the shimmer, actually came down because it was attempting to create, but it didn't know how to do it yet. It wasn't ready. So it was create the shimmer, and the shimmer just fractured everything while it was still learning how to create life, or create what its idea of life was. And that was the point I was going to arrive to that I got at way too early. Oh, well, what can you do? And also, we find out through videos that were taken of the, you know, the soldiers when they were, because there were videos who were left, soldiers left videos, the previous units of soldiers actually left videos and recordings. And when you get the husband, Natalie Portman's husband, ripping open one of the guy's stomachs, and then his insides were moving and like moving back and forth, not the way our insides ever should or would. Like something was alive, like moving inside of him. And one of the females, played by Gina Rodriguez, thank God she is breaking into the film world. I love her on TV. I love her on film. I love all 5 of these actresses. Oh my God, all 5 of them. One of them, she was in Thor Ragnarok and in Creed. She's excellent. I should really learn her name. All 5 were good. Great 5 actresses. But, you know, Gina Rodriguez's character, she also began to notice that her skin was moving, like there was something moving under her skin, and she was going absolutely insane. Another thing about the shimmer is the shimmer begins to affect your mind and make you go a little bit insane as well. And it began to affect her, and she began to go insane. And she even locked up, as we all know who saw this film, she tied up 3 of the remaining people because she found out that Natalie Portman's husband was in the unit who came before them, and also the other woman, the psychiatrist, she had terminal cancer. She knew she was not going to survive, hence why she went in there. She was going to die anyway. They all were jaded. All 5 of these women were jaded in some way. And Gina Rodriguez's character was an alcoholic. So she felt underneath her skin, then something was moving. And then the one who cuts herself, played by the actress from Thor Ragnarok, She said something about how, like, Natalie Portman, she's like, you want to fight what's happening to us. And the other woman, she wanted to figure out what's happening. She's like, I'm not sure I want either. And she began to walk away. As she was doing it, she was becoming plant life. She was turning into a plant as she was walking away. And when Natalie Portman ran after her, she completely disappeared, which means she went into the plant life. Yes, she had been right. Whatever was happening inside the shimmer, it was fracturing it. It was taking everything and melding it together, so things were getting really melded. You got her character turning into plant life. You got, the one guy, his insides were, alive and moving. You had, same with Gina Rodriguez, underneath her skin, she was mutating. You've got the bear who took on the female voice. You've got all these things now melding together. That's what's happening. So then eventually, Natalie Portman gets to the lighthouse, and so does the psychiatrist, or whatever she is, scientist, the blonde one. And eventually she gets dispersed, and she goes up and out into, because they go into the lighthouse and they go deep down into this well, and that's when Natalie Portman discovers her husband is dead. So remember how her husband came early in the movie? He is dead. He killed himself. But then you see another version of him on the camera, which means this creature turned itself into him. And he killed himself. You've got that. And his last message was to find his wife. So Natalie Portman sees that, and that's when it occurs to her that the man she saw was never her husband. She goes down into this hole that's in the lighthouse, and that's when she's in the middle of this just a layer of, things are moving, the walls are moving, and that's when she sees the psychiatrist just sitting there, and she learned what was going on, and then she got dispersed, her body just disintegrated into lights, and it went into everything. She's being, possibly is what I thought was, she's being redistributed. Everything about her is being distributed and fractured out into the shimmer, and now she's going to be a part of the entire environment. But why was she broken up randomly? Why? What reason for that? Why not Natalie Portman's character? And here's why. Because her character was dying from terminal cancer. She was no use to the alien, or whatever this creature was. She was no use to it. And then before that, we had the one woman who cut herself, who gave herself into, allowed herself to be fractured, to be distributed, and became part of the plant life. And the other two were murdered or killed by animals in the shimmer. So Natalie Portman was the only viable one left, but also for another reason. And I'll get to at the very end. So Natalie Portman sees her get redistributed, the psychiatrist, get turned to all this light. And then we get the alien. This tall, really well-designed alien. I think there's a possibility that might have been practical effects where they just put somebody in that type of, outfit. Or if that was CGI, that is some damn good CGI. Damn good CGI. And Natalie Portman shoots at it, but doesn't kill it at all. She drops the gun and runs out of the hole, and then there it is. So, she ran away from it, but there it is. And it continues to mimic all her actions. It is creepy. It is so creepy. Oh. I mean, very well effective, though. And every time she tries to, she makes it to the door and tries to escape, it bangs his body against her and it keeps her trapped in there. And then it mimics her again and again and again. And eventually, then she picks up a grenade. Because her husband blew himself up by putting a grenade inside of himself. She picks up a grenade, the type of flare grenades, whatever it was, and she reaches her arms out, and of course the thing is mimicking her. But it touches her arm, and then it turns into her. Then Natalie Portman releases the grenade and runs out, and the character dies. And the alien gets blown apart. It actually gets set on fire, and then as it gets set on fire, it goes down back into the hole, and then the entire shimmer disintegrates. Yeah, the shimmer is now it's destroyed. It's completely destroyed. As that alien blew up, so did the entire thing. You would think at that moment it's because Natalie Portman defeated it, No. That's not what I think happened. What I think happened, because at the very end of it, we see Natalie Portman go to reunite with the person who she thought was her husband, and she's like, "You're not my husband, are you?" And he's like, "I don't think so." And she hugs him, and their eyes both turn a certain color. I think here is what happened. The alien was, again, this is an experiment like the microbes. Remember how I said in the very beginning, Natalie Portman was talking about how microbes, they split apart? 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8. And then that's how life was created. That's what the alien was doing. It was splitting itself up. Or whatever this force was doing. It was splitting itself up. It was making itself into 2, into 4, into whatever it was creating. Or it just felt like being creative in that regard. And so the way microbes were used to create life in these small organisms, microorganisms, microbes, were splitting themselves apart to make life over the course of our world, including us. This alien was using us, and we became the microbes. Because think about it. It touched Natalie Portman. The alien turned to Natalie Portman. She blew it up. So you would think it's dead. But no, it's inside her. It was distributing itself inside her, and it was just trying to learn. When it made the shimmer, it was still in the midst of doing an experiment where it was trying to learn how to split itself up and to split things up so that it can make things morph and grow. But it was mostly not to morph and grow. I don't think it was that was it. It was trying to learn how to split up things and make 1 into 2, 2 into 4, and mostly it wanted to split up itself. Because remember in the camera recording, her husband killed himself and then the alien went off. Of course, when Natalie Portman blew up what appeared to be the alien version of herself, it let her do that. Because it knew to make it into the outside world, one of the 2 of them had to die. So when Natalie she touched the alien, now they both became 2. Just like when the alien touched her husband, 1 became 2, the microbes splitting up, humans splitting up, or aliens splitting up, and 1 becoming 2. 1 can't go out into the world. If 2 of them go out there, then they know, the world knows something's up and will kill both of them probably. 1 can go out there, only 1. So the alien transferred itself and spread itself into Natalie Portman, and again, it's the experiment idea of microbes just splitting up. Now this alien split itself into 2, into Natalie Portman, and 2 into her husband, killed off the original one, or killed off with her husband, I think it killed off the initial husband. With Natalie, it killed off, Natalie Portman's character, it killed off the alien side of itself, but it's okay because it's already fused into them. And now it's a husband and it's a wife, right? Which means those 2 can go off and have more children. So 1 became 2, the alien became the husband, and Natalie, now 2 can procreate and become 4. Or 8. I think that was the point. I could be completely wrong. I think that might have been, that's all it was. An alien or some type of strange force came down, and it was, sorry, you get thirsty sometimes, and it was splitting itself up the way microbes split themselves up to make the world, or us, people, creatures, microbes, splitting to make up matter. Now the humans have become the microbes, and they've been split. The alien split itself up and made 1 into 2. Now 2 can become 4. It's spreading itself. It wanted to create. That's what I think possibly is the point. Or that's what was happening. I think that was what was really going on. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. I admit that, guys. I just didn't want to watch another person's video. I want to see if I could figure this out for myself. And I might one day watch other people's videos about what happened, what was the explanation for how it occurred. And I could be completely wrong. Again, I could. But I just want to talk about this for myself and see if possibly I could have guessed it on my own first, before relying upon someone else telling me what it is. So guys, if you have watched this video, I'm assuming you saw Annihilation. If you didn't, I don't know. I'm amazed you sat through this entire video. But for those of you who have seen Annihilation, what did you think about it? And does my theory possibly seem like that's what it was about? If it's wrong, please feel free to comment in the comment section and let me know, hey, that's not what was going on at all. Either way, thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you all again. Enjoy yourselves.